G'day folks, how are yous? Well, I've been to the dyno, so I just want to show you something before I start talking about my day. This is very interesting. I had a fantastic day up the mountain today. That's about 20 minutes from where I live. Check that out. That's sort of a little slow-mo that I did on my phone. I hope it comes through on the GoPro. I love it. Absolutely gorgeous. They say the weather said it was snowing down to the 600 metre level. So we're at 300 here where we are, but it's just really cold here at the minute. No fire going today. Well guys, I had a pretty good day down at the dyno. I really enjoyed it actually. It was fantastic. It really was. Props to the dude down there that's running the workshop. He's a really nice fella. His name's Bruce. Oh, he's just so easy to get on with, and it's just fantastic. I feel very comfortable, and when you're feeling comfortable in an environment like that, you can think, you don't get distracted, and there's no pressure on me. I don't put any pressure on myself, but there was just no outside pressure on me to perform with it. You know, it's just yeah, laid back, and we think about things, and yeah, and that to me is key. That's what it's all about, guys. I don't care if it takes me another couple of goes to get this thing right. Well, it's still running lean, I'll give it that. But I've got another little issue, which is, I'm aware of it now, but my Innovate is reading rich. Well, 5 points richer. Now I'm reading lambda. It's 5 points richer than what it actually is. So the best I achieved with this was 8.3, but in actual fact it's 8.8, 8.9 thereabouts. That's in the lean department for E85 on the lambda scale. They say a power lean is 0.86, so we're a bit above that, and it's, you know, the motor's starting to just stumble. We're not experiencing any detonation, not on the low boost, just running out of fuel, just stumbling. As soon as it starts to shimmy a little bit, I pull the foot out of it, and yeah, it's funny because I was sort of focusing on my air-fuel ratio, thinking that was right, and all along it wasn't. But I'm aware of it now. I'm not sure though whether it's the position of this, because I think what's happening as it comes out of the turbo, it's creating a real vortex. So whether it's just getting an incorrect signal, a richer signal, I'm not real sure. Or this sensor's on the way out. I'm not 100% sure. But for now, I'll know that it's 5 points running rich, so always think ahead of this thing now, so at least I do know. Alright, we'll go back over to the carb and I'll show you and talk about what I've learnt and what solution I'm going to come up with. When it was at the back here before I took it to the dyno, I went up 2 sizes, front and rear. Well then, that actually brought me down a couple of points, believe it or not, but it was nowhere near enough. Then I went and put another 2 in the front, and then I thought, bugger it, I'll go straight to 100s. And that sort of brought it down even further, but still way off the mark. Remember, I've got to be from 0.88 down to 0.7778. That's where I've got to target. So I've really got to, it's really nearly 10 points. I've got to bring it down. So that's going to take a fair bit of fuel to do that, guys. I'll show you this. Now that's my 100 size jet on the left there, and I hope you can see that. That's the jet extensions coming out. To me that looks about 110, maybe 115 size, just on a guess. Now I did a little bit of working out as well. It's I think this is a 3.3 mil drill bit, and it just just sort of bites the edge, nearly sort of goes in, not quite. I'm going to cut this down and shorten him up a little bit, and I want to check the booster holes to see if they're about the same size, but when I look at it, it looks about that same size as the jet extension here. So if that's the case, it still may not flow enough fuel, because remember, this is a gas body. This is the E85 metering block. They're my jet extensions. It just might not be enough fuel to flow through these boosters. So my next plan of attack is, rather than just run them open with no jet in it, which I don't think it's going to flow, I'm going to make up vent tube extensions. They say it's a band-aid, a lot of guys, but I have tried them about 4 years ago, just as an experiment. I actually just used a bit of fuel line and on my other hat with a bit of fuel. Goodness me, it richened up crazy. So they say it's worth around 10 jet sizes. So I'm going to go for it. I'm going to try that, because this to me, that's not going to work. We're not going to flow enough, you know. And this will end up meaning I can actually hopefully come back in size, and I can, you know, go up to 100, or even worst case with the jet extension, not jet extension, with the vent tube extensions, I can run the, you know, if we need be, I can sort of, you know, this is maxing it out. The idea behind the vent tube extension, guys, for those who don't know, is if you run a bit of pipe, aluminum pipe, comes up and it goes up into the neck of the hat, so it sort of comes up to about here, so you're getting a beautiful velocity of charge air coming in before it hits the corner here. And what it does, it pressurizes your fuel bulbs, and it literally forces the fuel through the jet area, the main sort of this main circuit, out into your boosters. So hence why you'll gain up to 10 jet sizes just by running the vent tube extensions. And you know the beautiful thing about this as well, if you're cruising, it has very minimal effect. It's only when you're under boost and up in the top part of the revs, these things come into play. So I'm really excited about doing this. I've been really wanting to do it for a long time, because I know it works. There's a guy that does it. I'll see if I'll put a link in the comments if you want to check his video out. Titan 500 he calls himself, and he does a video on it too, and he reckons he can go up 6 pounds of boost, and I think it's without a jet change. That's the effect it had. It was incredible. So I'm going to go there, because I need to get the fuel into this thing to make the power, because the trouble is it's around 25 to 30% more fuel over pump fuel, but this thing, for some reason, well, not for some reason, this thing just needs fuel, guys. It really wants fuel. An interesting side note though, I did play with timing a little bit, and this is what I learnt. You increase timing. I obviously couldn't get any more fuel into it, but I thought I'll just increase some timing and then run it up to where it started to get a bit lean, sort of pull out of it. But it made a lot more torque, and it really ramped up really well, but obviously couldn't rev it as high because it had started to sort of lean out. So the more timing, the less RPMs you could produce, but I pulled it down to 18 degrees, so I went from 26 back to 18 degrees, and that gained me, it was nearly 500-600 revs before it started to lean out, but didn't make any power because it was just too lazy. So just an interesting bit of side note there, how timing has a big effect on fuel, or it affects fuel ratio really, you know, big time. So I'm feeling this thing here really wants about 26 plus degrees when the fuel's delivered at the correct ratio, It'll make, yeah, a really good bit of horsepower. You can sort of pull it right through to, you know, a bit over 6,000 revs. So yeah, so I'm very keen on it, and that's the sort of the path I want to go down, guys. So interesting. Alright, I'll do a vid on it when I do it in the next few days. I'm taking it back down this Friday again. I've got a little video, guys, just a little mash-up of what I did. It was just sitting in the car doing a couple of pulls, and you'll see it lean out. So just remember that my air fuel ratio gauge is reading about 5, maybe 6 points richer. So if I think it was 8.3, 8.3, so it would have been around 8.8, 8.9 sort of thing on the dyno. Oh, that threw me, that did. But anyway, that's what it is. Alright folks, well, I'll pop a vid up in the next couple of days when I get this sorted out. I've got a little bit of time up my sleeve through this week. I've only got a couple of little jobs on. I'll get them tidied up and I'll show you that, and we'll have a good talk about it too. Alright guys, it's starting to rain here again. God, it's been cold, but I'm loving it. Alright, I'll pop one up soon folks. Catch you later.